Welcome, moviegoers. How are we doing? Good, good. Do you have your ticket? All right, what do we have here? Real Swell. Good choice. Going to be in Auditorium 66. It's straight ahead and to the left. Enjoy. I've recently been watching gameplay of Arkham Telltale series, and it reminded me of something that stuck with me throughout the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. And it's a specific character, Alfred Pennyworth. And I know that the discourse around that trilogy is The Dark Knight being the best of them, and The Dark Knight being the best superhero movie ever. And I'm not necessarily here to argue either way on either of those points. But what I do want to highlight is Michael Caine's performance and the version of that character we were given through Christopher Nolan's vision. I feel that he was probably the most important character throughout this trilogy. And it culminated in one of the last scenes we get from him in The Dark Knight Rises. There's a theme that each of these characters, each of these movies actually, and then each of the characters have in each of the movies. And in Batman Begins, Alfred is the guardian, protector, and mentor for a young Bruce Wayne. He is the pillar that Bruce Wayne can anchor himself to keep sight of the real world, to keep sight of hope in the future. One thing that runs throughout that first movie is Alfred's insistence on being there for Bruce. They share a couple of exchanges where Bruce would say something to the effect of, "You still haven't given up on me." And Alfred would respond with, "Never. He's always going to be there for Bruce, as he has been his entire life." In the second movie, Dark Knight, he is the guardian, the mentor, that pillar for Batman, for what Batman stands for. He is constantly reminding Batman that he is more to Gotham. He is constantly reminding Bruce why he created Batman. He says to him a couple of times that he can't give in to the Joker's game. He can't give in to the hostage situation he's putting Batman in. You can't give up this symbol because some bad guy is threatening violence. Because then what's the point? Batman is supposed to be unbreakable. Batman is supposed to be above the rules of civilian. It's a symbol. It's not something that can be torn down. Alfred also reminds Batman of his conviction. He describes to him a story about a bandit who pillages and murders and steals from villages in this jungle, stealing precious rubies and jewels. And authorities are having the worst time trying to catch this bandit. But they always end up finding the jewel that he's stolen. The bandit is just out here committing all these atrocities just because he can. There's no reason behind it. He's paralleling that to the Joker. He says, some men just want to watch the world burn. You can't reason with these kinds of. And we later on, once the Joker has blown up Harvey and Rachel, Batman asks Alfred, "Hey, did the authorities ever catch this bandit?" To which Alfred responds, "Yes, they caught him by burning the jungle down," letting Batman know that he is going to have to go to extreme measure in order to stop the Joker. The limitations he's put on Batman are going to be tested, and he's going to have to go up as close to those limitations as possible in order to stop the Joker. He has to be resolute in his decision to go after Joker and to stop him, because nothing short of just shy of your limit as Batman is going to stop him. And in The Dark Knight Rises, Alfred becomes the guardian, mentor, and pillar to the Wayne family, or at least in each of these scenarios. I'm not saying that's what he represents. That's the focus of each of those. It's character building throughout the entire trilogy, giving us the full picture and the full range of Alfred's importance to the story, to Bruce Wayne, to the Waynes, and to Batman. And the focus in the third movie is Alfred's connection to the Wayne family. He has a very heartfelt conversation with Bruce about how he doesn't want Bruce to die, and especially to die for nothing, to die with regret, to die with sadness. He keeps some things from Bruce. In the second movie, Rachel admits to Alfred that she didn't want to be with him. She chose Harvey, and she wrote it in this letter that Alfred was supposed to deliver to him, but he didn't. He burned it. He admits that to Bruce in the third movie because he saw that Bruce was about to go off the deep end. He was about to go fight this battle that he was going to lose, but it wasn't for the same reason anymore. He was going out there because he wanted it to end, wanted the fight to be over. And the only way he could do that is if he physically couldn't, by going up against someone he physically couldn't beat. And Alfred tried to put an end to that. He wanted him to move on. He wanted him to understand that just because you lost Rachel, it doesn't mean your life is over. Because guess what? You were never going to have Rachel anyway. But that didn't work. Keeping that from you didn't work. So now I'm going to tell you, you're going to hate me for it. But I also need you to come back to reality and understand that life will go on. There will be other things for you to find passion in and to find purpose with. And at the end of this movie, The Dark Knight Rises, after Batman has sacrificed himself, he is standing at the grave of the Wayne family, and he is looking at Thomas and Martha's gravestone, and he says this one line that has stuck with me all of these years, and I can still hear it now, and it still feels as powerful as it did when I actually first heard him say it and saw this scene. He says to Martha, and he says to Thomas, "I failed you. You trusted me, and I failed you," because he wasn't able to protect Bruce from what took their lives. The violence, the hatred, all of the things that Alfred felt he was entrusted to do for Bruce, it finally caught up, and Bruce's life was taken anyway. He wasn't able to live his full life because he was still trapped by the events of losing his parent. And what Alfred wanted for Bruce was to come to terms with the loss of his parent, but also live his life as though it meant something. go out and be someone who is unburdened by not only the circumstance itself, but also the circumstances that led up to it and created that loss. And Bruce was killed, and there was nothing that Alfred could do about it. And he felt this obligation, and you could see it through each of these movies, that he needed to protect, mentor, and be that pillar for Bruce, and by extension, for Batman. And he wasn't able to. And I don't know if we talk about that enough. I know we talk about Bruce, of course. We talk about Batman. We talk about Two-Face. We talk about Scarecrow and how he was criminally underused throughout the trilogy. We talk about Joker. We talk about all these characters. I don't know if we really talk about the role that Alfred played and Michael Caine's performance in bringing that character to life. And as I was watching this gameplay of this video game, it just made me want to verbalize that idea. And I'm curious if anyone else felt that while watching the movies, and if it's come back to you, and if you've noticed now that thread throughout the trilogy. Thank you for coming to this screening of Real Swell. I hope you enjoyed. As you head out, I've got 3 things to ask of you. Number 1, pick up your trash. These ushers don't get paid enough. Number 2, make sure you are following so you don't miss the next screening. And number 3, hit that heart for me. I'll see you all next time. Make sure you've got your ticket.